We are moving on now to our next extraordinary woman in this program who has, oh my gosh, the depth in this woman, the depth of her care, the depth of her just extraordinary wisdom and insight. It has been a joy witnessing her synthesize this into this message and gifting us all here today. I want to warmly welcome now to our stage Terri Moon, How Authenticity Can Save Humanity. Everyone, let's give a huge round of applause for Terri.
Yay, Terri!
Terri, yes.
Terri!
Right.
Awesome, Terri!
Terri.
Let's make sure everybody is totally muted. So double check, make sure you're muted. And Terri, when you're ready.
The monster's chasing me. The monster's chasing me. Hurry, run faster, run faster. Have you ever tried to outrun your own feelings? I have. When I got divorced, I was in so much emotional pain that I didn't breathe a sober breath for 3 years. You know, what I've learned though, is that when we can stop and turn around and look that monster, our feelings in the eye, it actually becomes a friend. And that's especially true with those feelings that we don't want to feel. That broken heart, that grief, that shame. You know, we've bought into the TV commercials that tell us that we don't have to feel pain. We can just pop a pill and it'll disappear. We've forgotten our humanness in this. You know, we've turned into people who go to jobs that have no meaning, to earn money, to buy things that we don't even need, to impress people that we don't even like. We're disconnected and we're lost from our own humanity. You know, one night I was watching a film on Netflix and this show came on, Marie Kondo. She's the woman who wrote that book, you know, The Magical Art of Tidying Up. She's kind of become famous for being able to take one thing and hold it to your chest and see, does it spark joy? And I was fascinated as I watched these striking images of people, mountains of clothes, you know, or garages so full of stuff that no cars would fit. And I was watching these people struggle with holding a piece of clothing up to them, and does it spark joy or not? They were struggling to figure it out, but as they learned, what happened was their health returned, their creativity returned, their relationships deepened. It was just so inspirational to learn that, to watch that. And I, you know, what I've learned is that one thing we can appreciate, but 1,000 things numb us. And so I really believe what my mentor, Lynn Twist, who wrote The Soul of Money, says. And she says that we can never have enough of what we don't really need. And sure enough, you know, how do we know how to discern what we need? And I believe that answer lies within us. And that answer is listening to what I like to call our inner GPS. It's like Siri in your car. It tells you when to turn right and left. If you just listen inside, that joy can navigate your life and it can end you up at a destination that has meaning and purpose, because the feelings, which are those right and left turns, actually point to needs and values that we need to live in line with and honor. So you're probably familiar with Brene Brown. She's the researcher storyteller. And she talks about how the average adult in America has a feelings for words vocabulary of 3 words: sad, mad, or glad. And she says that her research is showing that we actually need 30 feelings words in order to have emotional fluency. And, you know, my experience is that when I ask them how they're doing, they say to me, I feel good, or I feel bad, or I feel fine. F-I-N-E. I'm fine. Don't ask me how I'm doing because I don't know. And we don't have that vocabulary. We need 10 times more feeling words than we have in order to be emotionally fluent. What I mean by emotional fluency is to be able to identify and to be able to express all the feelings of whatever's happening inside of us to another person. And to identify it for ourselves too. That's the disconnection. That's the loss, is not being able to. So I want to tell you the story of a prophecy. The indigenous people all around the world know that there are two paths of humanity. There's the eagle path, which is all about science and technology, and it's about intellect. And then there's the other path of the condor. And the condor people, their path is all about the heart, passion, connection to nature, intuition. And the condor have this prophecy that, or the indigenous people have this prophecy that the condor people will go almost extinct before the eagle people will wake up and realize what's happening. And there's a tribe in South America in the Amazon rainforest up at the headwaters called the Ashwar people. And the Ashwar people, they're such amazing. They called out to some eagle people, please come help us. We're concerned that we're going to become extinct because the oil companies are at our front door. And some people went down there. It became the Pachamama Alliance there. But what we learned from these people is that there are roles in their culture of the men, and there are roles of the women. And the roles that the men play is to go out and bring back what the women need. The women say we have to feed the community, go bring fish, and the men bring it back. And the women's job is to tell the men, okay, we have enough to feed everyone now. And so a business coach of mine, Sage Levine, went down and she met the Ashwar people, and she said the only thing that the women wanted to know from her is, why haven't the eagle women told the men that you have enough? It's like we're disconnected. We don't know what enough is. Now, I live in Northern California in Sonoma County, and we have had wildfires for the last 4 years in a row. And I'm here to sound a wake-up call. I can tell you that when I moved here 25 years ago, the wind did not blow the way that it blows now. And honestly, I'm scared. Every time I see the wind kick up, I feel fear of the fires. I wonder if we're all going to survive on this planet, both the Ashwar people and me. I wonder if we're all going to feel safe. And what I believe is the biggest contribution that each of us can make to climate change is to drop from our heads down into our hearts. Because when we do that, when we make that simple shift, what happens is all the right and wrong thinking, all the shoulds, all the conflict disappears. You know, our heads tell us, I'm 45 years old, I should be a vice president of this company by now. Or it says, you know, I'm 35 and I've never been married, so I might not be pretty enough. Those are all thoughts in our head. But if we drop down into our hearts, there's peace and joy and enoughness here right now. We are all we need right now. That enoughness is a vibration, and it connects us to our values and ourselves. And this emotional fluency is something that I've been teaching for 16 years now. And most of my clients and students come to me, and it's a similar thing. I'm going to share one client's story with you just so you get a gist of what happens. And that is this client came and she was swirling around in her head. She had this story and all these thoughts going on. Like, do I go back to the East Coast? Do I want to honor my father's passing. I want to go to his memorial service, but I also am scared. My sister who abused me is going to be there, and none of the family believes the story. And do I go or not go? And I made a guess of what she was feeling and what she might be needing. And when I did, she kind of froze, except for her eyes blinking. And it lasted for like 2 minutes. She didn't say a word, just blinking eyes. And then finally she said, "What did you say?" And I said, "Are you longing for honesty?" And she said, yes, yes. And her shoulders dropped down several inches. And she took a deep sigh. And all that happened next was she started gushing profound gratitude. It was like all in that second, all the pieces of her puzzle fell into place. All the answers were in her heart. She had just connected with everything she needed to know. That was all she needed. So personally, July the 1st, like next week, I'll be celebrating 36 years clean and sober. It's a total miracle. I never thought it was possible. And I'll tell you, it's taken me, that's when I stopped running from the monster myself, you know? And it's taken me all these years to really feel comfortable in my own skin and to really appreciate my feelings. But, you know, in this process, I've learned to value presence and authenticity and integrity over looking good on the outside. I've embraced my own humanity and I've stopped stuffing my own feelings because I realized that stuffing our feelings makes us ill. You know, 1 3-minute cry, it can keep us sober, but it can also provide so much relief right here and right now. And I even believe it can prevent cancer. You know, that monster's chasing us, yes, but I believe it's coming after us to give us gifts, the gifts of presence, the gifts of peace, the gift of connection with nature and with ourselves, the gifts of meaningful work and satisfying relationships. You know, my mantra these days is there is enough time, there is enough love, there is enough money. I am enough. And when I think that thought or say it out loud, I can just drop into my heart and I feel my vibration raise up and my consciousness expand. So I want to encourage each of you to use your inner GPS system, your feelings, to navigate and discern for yourself what sparks joy for you in your life. Because I believe that if you follow your feelings over your thoughts, your feelings are trustworthy way more than your thoughts. And that what's going to happen is you're going to end up at a destination of a very rich and satisfying life of enoughness. Thank you.
Very well done.
Wonderful.
That was so powerful.
Awesome, Terri. Go, Terri.
Awesome, Terri.
Oh,
Fabulous.
Amazing.
Thank you. Amazing. So well done.
So gorgeous. Go ahead and put in the chat. What did you love? Maybe it was something that she said that specifically touched you or moved you or made you go, wow, right? Maybe it was a way of expressing herself or her way of being, right? That really, it worked for you. Right?
Open to
Connected for you.
Step
Reflect
2.
to her here. Reflect to her here in the chat.
Step 5.
Provide her that gift. All right. So I would love to open up. Let's have everybody muted.
Go home.
Everybody muted. And I would love to open up for one person to provide a celebration for Terri. You can just unmute yourself and jump on it.
You can go.
Yes, please, Sandra.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Let me move here. Wow. It was amazing, Terri. I was just so connected to you. And I loved everything that you said, especially when you said that we need more than 10 words to express our feelings. Because yes, that we are not used to use our voice. So when people ask, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm fine. And yeah, oh, good. You know, yes, it was so funny. You show your teeth and I was laughing, but it was so profound. And I won't forget that it's awesome. We really need to learn to connect to our feelings and to learn how to express them. Thank you for highlighted that.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. Beautifully celebrated. Terri, I feel so proud of you for how you have woven so many different parts and aspects into this beautiful offering and into this talk. I mean, you know, that's part of the art is the discernment, what to include and what not. And you just have really been deep in that dance, and it's just really extraordinary to hear and receive what you're doing here. I'm so proud of you. And that story, you know, why aren't the women telling the men we have enough? God, that's a stunner. It's a stunner. Thank you so much. So beautiful. Let's give Terri another huge round of applause.
Yay!